What is your biggest fear? Spiders? The ocean? Being kidnapped? Or maybe you're one of those people that has a phobia of those really tiny holes. What a loser. You know what my biggest fear is? Well, not my biggest fear, but one of my biggest fears is having iPad children. I know you know exactly what I'm talking about. Those kids that stare at their iPads all day long without ever looking up. Sure, it makes babysitting super easy, allowing the internet to entertain them for hours, while we just sit back and relax. To keep you up to date, kids don't really watch the little Einsteins like we used to. They watch toy reviews on YouTube. Way back when, in the dark ages of 2004, I grew up idolizing people like Zac Efron and Demi Lovato. Those of the conventional good looks and mediocre acting and singing. Before the media took off, celebrities that were well known were those of the classic movie and pop stars. However, now we're seeing a new sector of people with minor fame that we've deemed influencers. If someone has a following on YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, or TikTok and isn't a pop star or the president, then they're probably an influencer. According to Merriam-Webster, an influencer is a person who is able to generate interest in something, like a consumer product, on social media. Whether they're vlogging, blogging, Instagramming, tweeting, and amassing followings of up to millions of dedicated fans, these influencers have changed the game for celebrity culture. Influencers create a specific niche on a media website. If you're confused, these are the people that endorse brands and say, use code LOVEPUPPIES78 to get 1% off your next purchase. As influencers are growing in popularity, their quantities of fans are growing exponentially. The distinctive line of difference begins to blur, wondering what's the gray area between an influencer and a celebrity. Technically speaking, influencers are those that came from your traditional channels like television, radio, acting, and singing. Top-tier celebrities include Beyonce, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, and my favorite, Taylor Swift. These are people that are looked up to from children and adults globally as godlike figures. These are people that my grandma is at least slightly familiar with. Kids and adults globally praise them as a godlike figure. Yet the relationships they hold are commonly impersonal and on the surface with fans, since we really only see them on Hollywood or on the big stage. The so-called influencers are the specialists of their field. They gain a following offering genuine reviews on social media sites, getting followers and trust-based relationships with their followers and that allow them to drive sales and trends in a way that has never seen before. There are beauty gurus, lifestyle bloggers, gamers, comedians, and more. No matter the genre, they're deemed the word influencer because their goal is to influence their followers to get products in which they're sponsored by. They lure fans from entertaining content that gain an admiration for the person and therefore try to sell them stuff. In the past, getting coverage for, say, a beauty product involved liaising with journalists in a magazine to secure content. Now, a 15-second mention by an influencer is an unheard of way to achieve exposure from an audience. Brands send influencers their products in hopes that they will endorse them on their platforms. In influencer marketing, influencers are perceived as being the creator of the message. That from start to end, the message is considered theirs, which lends a certain kind of credibility and authenticity. Common people love to see what is perceived as an honest review and unscripted opinion. For example, James Charles will review a makeup product on his YouTube channel. He will have a conversation with his audience, and his opinions will be seen as genuine reactions. However, in celebrity endorsement, the celebrity is seen as being the face of the brand. The brand scripts, produces, and distributes the content, and the celebrity relays it. From the target market's point of view, it's a message from the brand to them, with the celebrity's face as a messenger. These endorsements run on a single quote leverage. They're meant to be seen, heard, but not interacted with. For example, Jennifer Aniston is basically the face of Aveeno. I'm sure she loves the brand, but the opinions on each highly produced commercial aren't hers. Although some influencers are being seen with very big and luxurious brands, recently we've seen luxury companies use influencers to endorse and introduce their younger demographic. For example, Louis Vuitton doesn't really need the queen of YouTube herself, Emma Chamberlain, to promote their business. With such a reverend name company, she isn't directly selling as so much making the brand desirable for future generations. This works because social media influencers are the young icons of today. While prior generations looked up to film and music stars, today's youth primarily look up to YouTubers and Instagram leaders. I don't believe that this emerging influencer is something that we have to diminish as a whole, but it's important to understand who we idolize as a generation as a whole. I don't think this is something to be stopped, but that it's definitely something to be prepared for. But how does this affect us? More importantly, how does this affect Gen Z? This might come off as a very Gen Z topic of social media, but it's our entire surrounding world. It's essential for parents to understand who we look up to. They looked up to people like Madonna and Michael Jackson, while we look up to teenage YouTubers like Emma Chamberlain. That's quite a different dynamic. Kids like you and me spend up to 6 hours a day on our phones, strictly on social media. We are exposed to all these influencers on a daily. We're so vulnerable with loyalty and given such a multitude of people to idolize. Who we look up to as mentors has a lot to say about where we're heading, for the good and the bad. So many different industrialized technological shifts have been made just in this decade. Obviously, social media consuming our entire surrounding world, we're completely consumed with all of this. Especially through the pandemic, influencers and influencer culture might be something that we don't even see emerging. Think about how many people got famous just off of social media within quarantine and in the last year. This culture is a drastic shift from the celebrity culture we knew for so long. This leads me to personally wonder what the future holds for this in the influencer and celebrity culture. This is our new culture of time, and preparing for how this might affect the younger generations is crucial. Understanding influencers we idolize and the culture we see emerging is insane and crazy, and parents need to understand how this is affecting us. But whether it's positive and negative, and probably both, the impact of influencers on celebrity culture will most definitely have a big societal role in our visions moving forward. Thank you.